Oh, that's better. Welcome to this explorative story session celebrating one of my favourite science fiction books, Ready Player One. So, Ready Player One is a best-selling science fiction book written by Ernest Cline. If you haven't read the book, you might have heard of the film, as it features Simon Pegg as the founder of the Oasis. The book is set in a dystopian landscape where our main character, Wade Watts, lives in a rundown community known as the Stacks. This is a towering community made up of mobile homes piled precariously one on top of the other. The people there crave escapism, and that's where the Oasis fits into their lives. The Oasis would ultimately change the way people around the world lived, worked, and communicated. It would transform entertainment, social networking, and even global politics. Even though it was initially marketed as a new kind of massively multiplayer online game, the Oasis quickly evolved into a new way of life. The Oasis is an MMORPG, which stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Roleplay Game, and it's accessed through VR headsets, not unlike this one. It is an enormous virtual world, and its advanced technology makes it an immersive and escapist experience like nothing we know. People can be whoever they want to be, go wherever they want to go, do anything they want to do. Our main character Wade even attends school in the Oasis. So in the book, when the founder of the Oasis, James Halliday, passes away, he leaves a challenge to the gamers left behind. The person who finds his 3 Easter eggs will win his entire fortune. So an Easter egg is a term used for a secret that the developer writes into the code of the game. I'll let James Halliday describe what it is himself. He plops down in front of the Atari, picks up a joystick, and begins to play. My favourite game was this one, he says, nodding at the TV screen, where a small square is travelling through a series of simple mazes. It was called Adventure. Like many early video games, Adventure was designed and programmed by just one person. But back then, Atari refused to give its programmers credit for their work, so the name of the game's creator didn't actually appear anywhere on the packaging. On the TV screen, we see Halliday use a sword to slay a red dragon, although due to the game's crude, low-resolution graphics, this looks more like a square using an arrow to stab a deformed duck. So the guy who created Adventure, a man named Warren Robinett, decided to hide his name inside the game itself. He hid a key in one of the game's labyrinths. If you found this key, a small pixel-sized grey dot, you could use it to enter a secret room where Robinett had hidden his name. On the TV, Halliday guides his square protagonist into the game's secret room, where the words "created by Warren Robinett" appear in the centre of the screen. This, Halliday says, pointing to the screen with genuine reverence, was the very first video game Easter egg. Robinett hid it in his game's code without telling a soul, and Atari manufactured and shipped Adventure all over the world without knowing about the secret room. They didn't find out about the Easter egg's existence until a few months later, when kids all over the world began to discover it. I was one of these kids, and finding Robinett's Easter egg for the first time was one of the coolest video gaming experiences of my life. So I love video games just as much as I love reading books, and this book perfectly encompasses these two passions. I think if you do play games, then you'd really appreciate the references to video gaming and 80s retro games. But I think even if you don't play games, just being able to appreciate the pop culture references too make it a really fun read. And the Oasis is a fascinating world to lose yourself in. So you might have noticed some references behind me. Can you name which games these 4 characters are from? I'd love to hear your guesses in the comments. There are 4 to guess in total. I will bring them up on the screen one at a time for you to see properly. So our technology isn't so far removed from what we see in Ready Player One. To quote the book itself, for a bunch of hairless apes, we've actually managed to invent some pretty incredible things. I think that's what I love about science fiction so much. So many ideas are grounded in real life, in science, and things we see in the everyday. And on that note, I have actually hidden James Halliday's fortune somewhere on the internet. The first one to find his fortune and post the secret message in the comments of this video will win a prize. The prize will be a game key on Steam for a science fiction puzzle game called Opus Magnum. So I suppose you could say there is an Easter egg somewhere in this video. In fact, you've probably seen it already. I will leave you with this rhyme to get you started. It's only fair, James Halliday did the same. If you find the right image, you will have rewound. If you decipher the message, a clue will be found. In a bamboo garden, trinkets do surround. There you'll find the answers scattered on the ground. If you do find the image I'm referring to, then the clues will guide you to one of our events on the Newton Abbot Library Facebook page. And there you should find the next clue leading you to James Halliday's fortune. Easter eggs aren't meant to be easy, so I'm not going to give you any more clues. So this contest will remain open until someone finds the hidden message and posts it here in the comments. So if you have enjoyed this video about Ready Player One, then I highly recommend you read it. It is currently free to download from our Libby app. It is in ebook form and audiobook form, so you can download whichever you prefer. There might be a waiting list at the moment as it isn't part of the always available collection, but it's well worth being added to that list. So now for the answers of the Guess the Video Game reference. We have number 1, Diablo. Number 2, Fallout, one of my favourites. Number 3 is World of Warcraft. And lastly, another one of my all-time favourites, this is Claptrap from Borderlands. I'd love to know how many you really got right. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for joining me today. I'll probably go back and see Oasis now if that's okay with you. I'll see you soon.